In today's episode, John and Mike discuss how God is in everything, everywhere. His fingerprint is in every living and non-living thing. His code is embedded in us and proof of his existence. Listen in as we take you on the journey to show you how God is the creator and architect of life. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of My God, Your God, where whatever we do it with God. I am, as always, John Emilio, along with my good friend, Michael Camarado. Michael.
I am Michael Camarado, along with John Emilio. Happy New Year 2026.
Happy New Year. Yes.
Now, if you're listening to this in June of 26, it's no longer a Happy New Year. But yes, it's always a Happy New Year. Every day is a new year of something.
Every day could be the start of a new year if you kind of want it to be. Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
And all that fun stuff, but you can do that anytime. You don't have to wait to January 1st.
There's a lot of good feedback from last time too. I just want to quick shout out to all the listeners, and I want to throw out there that if anybody wants us to speak about a certain thing or subject,
topic,
or whatever they want, if they want us to cover that topic,
absolutely,
just get a hold of us on Facebook, I would imagine, or however else they can get us.
Yeah, I mean, on Facebook, if you go to Facebook, you can message either myself or yourself. I mean, my email address is on my Facebook page, so you could email me there. Yeah. My website has all our information too. So any of them, John, if you go to
same. Michael Camarado, All Learning God Ministries.
All Learning God Ministries. Yeah.
So please, you're invited to do this stuff. And if you want to remain anonymous, that's fine.
Sure.
But just give us a topic and we'll cover it here.
For $10, we won't tell everybody your name, we promise.
And speaking of earning money,
yes.
If I was to offer you 5 cents for every time I was going to say the word code in this session, you are going to be a multi-millionaire.
So then
I'll get to that as soon as we get into the conversation.
I will take that bet. I will take that. I will take a note of how many times you say the word code for the next 35, 40 minutes.
So what brought me here personally 10 years ago on January 8th of 2016 is when I'm not going to talk about my heart attack thing because that's not what it's about. It's about me learning God.
Yes.
And I didn't find God. I mean, he was always there. He found me, really.
True.
Whatever it was, whatever the relationship became, it became that on January 8th of 2016. So I'm celebrating 10 years of
God bless
doing it with God.
God bless. Yeah, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So that's my birthday, spiritual birthday. I rarely celebrate my regular birthday, but I do for my mom because she had me that day. So, you got to
throw her a bone.
Throw the bush. Thank you, Mom. But we're going to get to that. Okay. Moms, dads, and near-death messages because just really quick, going back to the hospital when I'm having the heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And after I had this death thing and the messages, and when I wake up, I'm not thinking about them intubating me as I'm feeling it. I'm see the whole thing happening because I'm awake, but I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about all the messages I just received when I just had the heart attack, or still having it, but when I had died, quote unquote, 5 minutes earlier. And that's the only thing I'm thinking of. So I was completely at peace of what was happening. And this is probably the biggest messages I've gotten for proof of God. Hope you guys have an open mind. And I hope you guys have your thinking caps on. Okay. And I'm going to talk in simple language because I only know simple language.
Okay. That works for me.
I don't know any big words.
Okay.
And which is good because it's going to keep it nice and simple. And if I do this a step at a time, I think people will understand what these messages mean and how I look at the world now, these past 10 years, with awe because I understand the natural world now.
Okay.
I didn't care then. All right, you got a flower, you got a lion, I didn't care. A spider,
Understood.
you know, step
Understood.
on the spider in your house. I don't kill these things anymore, which is crazy. Um, so should I begin with this thing, this code? There's 5 cents for you right now. I call it the God code.
Okay.
I didn't know what else to call it because this is man's language.
Yes. Yeah. We use the words we're given.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
We use the words we're given for the lion and the flower.
Yeah.
These are just words we made up.
It's
Does
true.
a lion know it's called a lion? The answer is no. It doesn't know.
It doesn't know. No.
So I know you guys love math and science, right?
Said nobody.
Nobody ever. And I wasn't really much of a math guy prior to 10 years ago. I mean, look, math. I did my checkbook.
Yeah.
I really didn't care about anything else. And how much weight it was gaining. That's the only math I knew in my life. And how many hairs I was losing on my head.
Tough yet.
So this code, we work with numbers as far as a human system.
Yeah.
In fact, the animal kingdom doesn't really work with numbers. Or do they? I used to think they didn't know anything about numbers. And they really don't. Because if you write down the numbers 1 through 10 on a piece of paper, those are numerals. And man decided to make these numerals, the design of them. They're not the actual number itself. It's just the representation of a number. So in other words, if I write the numeral 2, it represents 2 of something.
Yes. Okay.
Like math is an idea. It wasn't invented by man, but man discovered it, discovered how to use it, discovered how to make it work for man's purposes. And we use math constantly, all day, every day, whether we know it or not.
Okay.
We're always using math. Like you can't walk into a number 2. It doesn't exist. You can walk into 2 of something. But you can't walk into the numeral or the number.
It's an idea, yes.
Or concept. I
It's a
didn't even know.
concept.
Yeah,
It is.
concept.
It's a concept. Math is a concept that describes a quantity, it quantifies things. That's all it does. And the numeral that you put, the design that you put in front of it was created by man as we, fine tuned our language and stuff like that. But it just quantifies. It's a tool used to quantify. Yes.
Correct. And it represents something else. Here's the code that we could look around nature and we could see this code. First of all, we have to understand what a living thing is and what a non-living thing is. And I'm talking about just the natural world. I'm not talking about a house, although, of course, there's natural stuff in a house.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the natural world, living and non-living things, and what makes them tick. Why is a living thing considered a living thing?
Okay.
Why is that code different from the code in, like, say, a rock or sand or soil? Why is that non-living stuff, but still natural? There's a code in everything, and this code, see, I told you you're going to make a lot of money. This code in living things, natural living things, is always moving. It's always computing, and it's always calculating, and it's always redefining itself to become back to its normal code. Let's assume a kid falls down and skins his knee, which I've done even at 60 years old.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I'm sure. And we all, that doesn't stop happening because we get older.
Yeah, no, it gets worse, actually.
But
You skin your knee, you fall. Now, imagine if we had to think about healing our knee.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't heal it. You can't think.
No, it happens naturally. Yeah.
Yeah, because the code in our bodies, which is riddled with God's code, we don't realize that. We don't have to think about it. The code will get back to its normal code.
Yeah, well,
in other words, it wants to grow skin. It wants to
heal itself. Yeah, but that's the part of science that, like, there's this autonomous entity in us that allows our body, right? I'm going to use a human body as the example here. That allows, and you can use it for animals, even insects, that allows our body to function free of our involvement. So our heart beats not because we make it beat, because it beats. We breathe naturally without realizing. Can we intervene in that? Yes. But our body breathes naturally. Our heart pumps our blood. When I want to lift my arm, I just lift my arm. I don't sit there and go, okay, engage my scapular and engage my rotator cuff. No, just lift my arm. There's this thing in us that allows nature, not just beyond our body, right? I think that's where you're kind of going with this. Allows nature to function, right? On its own. Like it just does. Maybe that's the best way. It just does. Like bees know what they have to do. They know their place. They know the things they need to do and how they need to do it and when they need to do it, and they do it, right? A spider, a dog, and a cat, whatever, God's creatures. I mean, they all have a place, right? Human beings, we have a place, and our bodies work a certain way. Like you were saying, you skin your knee, you don't think about how to heal it. Your body does it on its own. And I think the code that you're talking about is God's fingerprint, right? Like we can't figure out the code. Like we don't know what the code is. We use the word code because just to use language, but it's that fingerprint. It's that higher intelligence, higher consciousness that's in there that allows it all to work that scientists can't. Those are the unanswerable questions, right? That people say, yeah, well, you have a nervous system and the nervous system, this, and the body heals by the platelets and the blood. Yeah, we know. We figured out how, like, the cut heal, but I don't make the cut heal. It does it on its own, right? And I think that's where you're kind of going with that.
Exactly. I mean, listen, science is fine. Science figures things out of what God did. That's the study of. That's what science does, and that's okay. So in other words, and we call it these, fancy terms sometimes like DNA. Okay, there's DNA. DNA existed long, long, long because God insisted upon it long before science discovered DNA.
Of course, yeah.
And it's not DNA because we call it DNA. It's DNA because God wanted it to act the way it does. Not because we call it DNA, as I said.
No, it's just a term we put.
It's a code.
Yeah.
And there's a mathematical code that is formed within us, and my normal code might not be your normal code. We'll get to that. Like you might see the color red differently than I see the color red, but we both agree that it's the color red. Unless you're colorblind, but, I'm talking about regular, I'm not going to say normal human beings because that's not true, but normal eyesight. We could agree that if we're not colorblind, we see the same colors pretty much the same way, but we might see them differently. If I went into your body, like that's your red, my red is much different than your red.
Yeah, well, that's personal perception also. You see things how you want to see them, right? So, yeah.
Now, so the code forms, which is kind of incredible. I'm going to say the word sperm because it's okay, because science invented it. The sperm, the egg. There's one cell from each of us, male, female, gets together. Just between those two cells, there's such a code that will now branch out into an amazing network of patterns between atoms, molecules, and cells that behave in a way that God, yes, God, made them happen. In other words, we have all the systems in our body are made up of different cells, but only from two cells that got together to do this, because the code is incredible. The other day I'm eating pumpkin seeds, and I'm holding the pumpkin seed, and I'm saying, this is incredible, because here's a code in this seed that won't activate until we put it in God's soil. We have to give it God's water. We have to give it God's sun. We have to give it God's soil. Did I say soil or air?
Yeah.
Air,
I got
soil, water, and all that will activate the code in that stagnant seed that wasn't doing anything but feeding me at the time. But if you put that in the ground and it activates, that code knows what to do mathematically to become a pumpkin or whatever you're going to plant.
Whatever seed it might be. Yeah. There's it's already a predetermined process that's going to happen when A and B are put together. And then when you put seed into ground, A and B, and then you add water, C, and sunlight, D. With those four ingredients, this is what happens. We didn't create that. And I think is that what you get? Like,
the code will activate.
That's not us. Yeah. That
No, that's
God-given
not us
code.
at all. We have
No.
nothing to do with it. Isn't that
No.
great that we have nothing to do with it?
No, that's the
That
fingerprint of
is
God.
God.
Yeah.
If people could understand and open their minds,
We're trying to
that's
replicate it, but yeah.
we could do whatever we could do with the seed. Now play around
Yeah.
with it. We sometimes alter its
But we didn't
stuff and
create
make
the
it new.
process. The process was
Sure.
created beyond
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yes, we try to,
We could replicate it. Yeah.
but it's not our idea.
No.
It's a programmer's idea. If we can call God a programmer, but he is. He's the most intelligent
Yeah.
programmer in the universe.
And we use the word programmer because it's again words that we created.
Yeah,
it's our
English
language.
words.
It's
And
English
he's
words.
not a
Yeah.
programmer, but
No. Yeah.
this is so we could understand it on
Yeah.
our level of
To frame it.
intelligence.
Gotcha.
And compatibility with codes is a big thing. God isn't making new species. However, we keep finding these new species almost daily. If you go to the Amazon jungle, the rainforest, or wherever, scientists are coming up with different species of spider,
yeah.
of birds, of snakes, because their codes got together. God deemed it so, where the codes were compatible, and then we discover these newly created creatures. And we said, wow, this is amazing. We just discovered this. God just made this. God put the blueprint in place, and if the codes are compatible, it'll work. Let's assume me being a Caucasian, and if you have a mom, a wife, or whatever that's Asian, if we have kids, there's going to be a compatible code where we're going to get some code from the Caucasian dad, some code from the Caucasian mom, and the kids are going to look kind of
I got you. Yeah.
And that's the biology of it, which we call biology, but that's God's code because it's compatible. In other words, there's no human turtle babies because our codes aren't compatible with turtles.
Okay. And I think we definitely kind of get that. We understand that the crux of it all is that we don't. These are the questions that the scientists can't answer, right? We know how things are replicated and made, but and this is where scientists will always say it's even scientists who speak of evolution and how we evolve, and we do evolve as human beings, and things do evolve on the planet, right? Because they keep growing and changing and adapting, because that's what they're made to do. But there's always that question of the unexplainable, and the unexplainable is what you've kind of been speaking about, is that inherent spark, that inherent beginning, that inherent idea to create this system that works in a certain way, right? And as in the Bible, as God says in Genesis 1 and 2, he created us in the likeness of himself, right? So the idea is God looks something like us, I guess. I mean, maybe someday we'll know. I don't know. But it's that unexplainable part of it is the part where you go and you look at it and say, put science aside. Put all that aside. We couldn't have created this. And by the way, two rocks slamming into each other could not have created this, right? Some Big Bang theory that just, on a snap of a finger, does not create such a complicated, specifically driven, where A needs to happen for B, and B, using our letters, where you have to have this cascading of events to happen a certain way in order for something to happen. Like, there's a plan behind it. And that's the divine plan, which we can't. Scientists try to replicate, try to come up with an idea to why it's, this is how it started. The one got together with two and we did this. But okay, where did it, even if you could tell me this is how a human being was formed, and the scientist wants to try to prove to me this is how a human being was formed, and here's the theory that I have. Okay, the items you're speaking about that were used to create the human being, where'd they come from? Well, no. Where did they come from? And that's the answer nobody has, right? They were dust flying in space. Okay, dust flying in space. I'll go with that. Where did the dust flying in space come from? Well, no. Okay, let's go even further. Well, that dust that came from that dust. So we could go on and on. Something is the origin of it all, right? And that code that you're speaking about is the code that's inherently written into everything that happens and that we see, whether it's a rock on a floor has a code. It's a different kind of idea. It's a different kind of, because it doesn't grow, but it does other things, right? So our code maybe is because we're living organisms. It evolves, it changes, it shifts, it moves, but it has a homeostasis is what you're kind of saying. Always wants to come back to what it is. It has that. And that code, which we call, I guess, DNA. I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I guess it's what we would call our DNA, which is our makeup, right? Which is our characteristical makeup and how our body functions. Like if you have to talk mathematically, that is like a mathematical genius writing that out. Like you ever look like a rocket scientist or one of these like Elon Musk guys writing something on a wall and you're like, that makes no sense, but that formula got that rocket into space. Picture how the original, however it was thought up or written, and we'll never know. Maybe God will tell us someday when we reach heaven, he'll be like, oh, so guys, let me tell you how I did this. You know, what it actually was, that idea that to create this, you know, and these are like this human being that is such a marvel. Like how we stand upright and do things is amazing, right? We take it for granted because we see life through our eyes and we just think this is the reality. But you step back and you go, but how did that happen? Like, how did God create this guy called Mike Camarado that his body does all these amazing things, right? You become in awe of that, of the intelligence that's needed for that being, that divine being, to write that code and actually put it into play. I find, I mean, that's where I go like this. You want to be an atheist? Okay, be an atheist. Answer me this. Well, I don't know, you know, where the dust came from. Oh, so it always points to what you don't know and what you don't understand is something beyond our comprehension, which is another way of saying it's a divine, it's a godly, there's something out there. There's something that did it, right? Then you got the Bible and you have, you know, the stories of Jesus Christ and his son. And we see, even those stories, we see them as other human beings, but even that story is written out by him in sending a message. Like it's so complex that it takes human beings such a long time sometimes to try to decipher it all, which is when I go like this, I go, stop trying to decipher it. Just literally believe it.
Yeah. Just enjoy it.
Just enjoy it and believe it, because we'll drive ourselves bananas trying to figure out God's, like you're speaking about God's code, which is in flowers and bees and rocks and trees and everything from your hands to your knees, right?
Dr. Seuss.
It's everywhere. But if we try to figure that out, we're going to miss the point. He doesn't want us to figure out his code. He wants us to realize I'm the one who wrote it.
Right. If you don't believe in God, which is fine. Again, I'm not in the convincing business.
No, it's not our job to convince you. Yeah.
Then you deny your own existence. Now,
that's deep.
You can't deny your own existence.
No.
You can't deny the universe.
No.
You can't deny the natural world. Now, Mike, you're talking about nature. No, let's not confuse. We've replaced the word God with the word nature, and we call everything nature. It's really the other way around. We replace the word nature with the word God. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Because, all right, you know, maybe you don't believe in God. You might not believe what you were taught about God. This does not mean God, which is the word we have for it right now. It'll never be another word. This is why God is, you know, I'm at a loss for words myself.
You do, see, and that's the beauty of it. You become, but you're making a great point right there. The loss of words is what happens when you try to explain the unexplainable, right? When we try to explain what God actually is,
can't describe it, right?
You can't describe, like you said, the word God. God is a word that we have. Like in the Bible, he called himself Yahweh, right? Like that was, and then we translate that into English because the English word has to, you know, there has to be an English word for Yahweh. There has to be a Greek word for Yahweh. There has to be an Italian word. So, you know, in Italian it'd be Dio, you know. So in Spanish it's Dios. In Israeli, I guess it's Yahweh. And in English it's God. All means the same thing. People use the word universe. The king in the Bible, they use the word king of the universe. They call him, I'm holding my Bible, man. They call him the king of the universe. Like that's said in the Bible. just another language, another word. We try to explain something that's unexplainable. And what just happened to you, when you like stuttered, I'm like, that's it. Like, that's what happens when we try to do this,
Right.
you know?
And God, it's not that God had no information for me. I had no information to describe what
you were
we're not
told.
supposed to be describing anyway. Just, enjoy it. The universe circles, everything circles and everything
Sure.
revolves around things.
Yeah,
And this is the
absolutely.
plan. This is the plan. That's the plan. Now, if you go down to our atoms and our molecules, an atom, now I'm going back to school days now,
Yeah.
I think the nucleus is a proton, neutron, and I think there's electrons that rotate around an atom, if
You
I'm not
paid more
mistaken.
attention than you paid more attention than
Well,
I did. So
I'm
good
pretty
for you.
sure that's what it is.
Good for you.
If it's not, don't forget to write your hate mail to me. Anyway, that's really what an atom is. These atoms are actually small little universes.
True, they are.
Circling the nucleus.
They are.
It's exactly what this huge solar system does. It's the
It's
same
That's what the Milky Way is.
design.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a design by a designer,
That's
by a creator.
See, that's it. That's probably we haven't said that word the whole show yet. There's a design, and that design was drawn up by this designer. You said programmer before, right? But I like design and design even better. Yeah, I like that's, or even this architect of this beautiful, like the way it works, and he's there because this entity has shown himself in different ways in the world, like the unexplainable things that happen, and people who, like yourself, who've had near-death experiences, have had encounters with this divine presence, right? And one way or another. Some people who say they saw Jesus, other people who say they saw a light, they heard voices, they heard a message that was given to them. Like, all right, so you have to understand that part of you that has now gone to connect with that divine being, like that's the connection that's between this architect world that was built for us to inhabit and live, right? And then we screwed it up back in Genesis 1 with Adam and Eve. But, I mean, we were imperfect, and he tried to make us perfect, but we screwed it up on him, you know? But that connection is and still unexplainable. We can't really give it the right word to make it make sense. But people who've come back from these near-death experiences usually have one word: peace, serenity. There was I wasn't missing anybody, or I wasn't upset about anything. I was just at peace with what was happening, because those people were with God, right? That's what they say, to be to deny God will be an afterlife without God. And that's that's hell. Hell is, you're not with God. Yeah. When you die, you're not with God, or as opposed to, and it's even in the Bible, Jesus says it, when you die, you are with God, right? And hell is a lifetime, an eternity without God. So without your creator, not going back home to where where we originally came from, or who originally created us. So,
and that is a 100% true statement. And coming from, the messages that I get or that I've received, that is 100% correct. You're going to either be with God or not with God. So, and again, to deny God, you deny yourself.
I love that. Yeah, I love that.
You are a living, breathing thing. Here's science. Let's look at the bees just for a quick second. I mean, I don't want them in my house. I used to kill them, bees in my house. I got to get rid of it. I got to kill it. Now I'll try to capture it and throw it out the window. Yeah. Because I understand now that they're following God's code, the code that they were given to a T. There's no school for bees, how they have to make a mathematical hexagon. No. They make these hexagons out of math because the code is in them.
Instinct. Yeah, it's instinct.
Now, you ask a scientist, well, they do the hexagon so they save more space in the honeycomb and they get more honey out of it. Yes, sure, that's the surface answer. But how do they know that they have to make a hexagon, or how do they figure this out to begin with? Because they're coded with God's code. Same thing like there's math. Let's see, math in a fern. You look at a fern, a plant, there is so much math in that fern. If you look at one leaf of a fern is a fractal of the whole leaf. So if you look at the whole leaf and one of its strands, it's just constant mimic of it goes on and on and on. You'll never look at a fern the same way again.
Yeah.
A seashell with the spiral, especially the spiral ones.
Yes.
They're actually making these spirals, which is a mathematical code. It's not just nature. It's God coding a seashell. Go figure. This is what's happening in the world. And you just have to open your eyes and understand when you see something, God has got a code in that thing.
You appreciate it.
Yeah, you appreciate it way, 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 way more.
Yeah.
Well, more than I've ever done over 10 years ago. I didn't care.
No, it's not just something that's happening anymore. Now there's actually an appreciation for what you see. I mean, your experience opened your eyes to be able to experience life in a different way, not just, well, this is the way it is. Hold on a second. It's not about just this is the way it is. This is the way it was meant to be. This is the way it was designed to be. And all of a sudden you're looking at it and in real time, you're watching this creation evolve in front of your eyes, right? Which is, and I think that's the point. That's the point that most people miss, even with, even with the whole God thing. Whether you're religious or you're not religious, or you believe in God or you don't believe in God, or you believe in a simulation theory, it's watching this process evolve in front of your eyes. How, if you're not in awe of it, if you're not sitting there going, wow, like who designed things to work this way? Because in my wildest imagination, afterwards, we all have the idea. Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, that's awesome. I love the way that works out. But to come up with that idea, to come up with that the I'm going to create this can only come from one place, right? That's why I'm saying, I love what you just said. If you're denying God, you deny yourself, because if you deny God, you're denying the fact that you actually are created. You're denying the fact that you are a human being living and breathing and experiencing his world right now.
The universe is dead. There's no such thing as the universe then.
Exactly. If you don't believe in
God.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
The other day it snowed. I'm not a big fan of snow because I get crippled in it,
Yeah, if the 50 years here, I don't think many of us are.
Yeah, we're not fans. But if you look at a snowflake, look at that math. Every snowflake has 6 sides or points,
and no two are alike. It's a complete
mathematical from water, which is hydrogen and oxygen, as we know from school, H2O.
H2O.
When it gets cold, it forms into 6 sides. That's a mathematical entity, process, design.
And by the way, no two are alike.
No, isn't that incredible?
Like human beings. I mean, unless you're identical twins. But I mean, even then, there might be differences. But no two are alike. Yeah.
Yeah, none. And we have to walk around knowing that that God's code is within us. Not only that, we have God's gift of a code to make
more
other coded humans.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way they're going to get made. They're not going to just pop up. We have, in a very pleasurable way also,
we can grow
to
them?
make other human beings. We hope it's pleasurable. I'm not going to get into other.
No. That's a different birds and the bees show.
That's a completely. But it's a pleasure. He made it, designed it that way so we can do it. And out of all these beautiful codes that we see in nature, between the starfish and the lion and the birds and the bees and the spiders and all this stuff, God doesn't care about anyone's code. We only have these codes because we need it here for this existence, in this plane, in this life. He only wants you, which is your spirit, which is not a code.
No, that's not. That's what I was saying before. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's made by God, and it doesn't need to be coded. It's God's. You are God's. Period. Get that in everybody's head. I know your body, great, but guess who you're not going to see God with? Your body. He doesn't need it. He doesn't work with numbers. As I said at the beginning, he's not working with numerals. I'm sorry. He works with numbers. He's not working with numerals, which is what we need to do. But he wants your spirit, which is a non-code. And it's the only thing that's non-coded as far as our relationship with God. Everything else we use our coded bodies to get the word of God and share it and speak and do all these wonderful things with the codes we were given. Even if your code is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is my normal, your code might be 1, 2, 4, 7, 6, 9, 3, 8, whatever. Your code is a different code, but it's your normal code. Now let's assume someone has a birth defect. Their code is going to be way different than our code, but their code is normal. Let me say normal correctly. Normal to them. It's not a common code, but it's a normal code. Because if I see somebody with, say, cerebral palsy get up and run the decathlon, that's not normal to me. But their code is normal to them, but not a common code. So let's not confuse normal with common.
No, so when you use the word code, and I know that was part of the videos that you did when Learning God Ministries, when you after you had the experience and all that stuff. The word code, was it a word that you heard were given, or is this just you trying to explain it?
It was not a word I was given. It was just an English word that I don't know.
Using a word to try to explain it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a mathematical, I like to say code only because it sounds like it's not just a number. It's actually a sequence. Of numbers.
Yeah, it's a sequence. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, I was just curious if it was something that it was one of the NDMs that you had, or if it was just you as a human being trying to explain this message that was given to you.
It's the latter. It's that.
It's the latter.
It's exactly
you're trying to, because I know that, so they're going to be people who are going to hear that word code and they're going to get it. Like, I have friends who, believe in a divine being, believe in all that, and they say that, yes, we are. There's a code. There's a code designed to all how this works. Then you're going to have people who are more black and white, and they whatever they read, let's say they read a story in the Bible, like, for them, the word code's not going to resonate. So they're going to be like, well, that doesn't make sense. We're not machines. We're not androids. We're not saying that we are. We're saying there's a design. So the word code is also, like we said before, a different way of saying the design that was created. We don't even know, at the end of the day, we don't even know that design, if it uses we don't even know what that design is made of. Again, we're only using what we know as human beings. Yeah.
It uses what we call math.
Yes.
But I don't know what kind of numbers
or what kind of math it is. Yeah. We don't even know how that's complicated.
Correct.
How that's
right.
If it's computed, we have no idea, because that's beyond our realm of understanding, which makes it the unexplainable, which points to something that's, again, when you point to something that's unexplainable, divine intervention is the only answer that's left, that I can't explain it. That's God. If I can't explain it, it's God. Like, as humans, we can explain a lot of things that happen on the planet, but there's things we can't explain. The things that we can't explain, that's God, right? Like, people say gravity. Can you feel gravity? Do you experience gravity? Yes. You can't see it, touch it, smell it, taste it. No.
Mm-hmm.
But you believe it's there, right? And people are like, yes, of course I believe. I'm here. I'm experiencing gravity. I'm not flying in the air. God's the same way. You can't see, touch, feel, smell, but you could experience him without physically understanding where it is, how it is, but it's there. And God's the same thing. Like, for me, God, that's how I like to explain God is yes, the biblical way is beautiful. And I said, I'm reading the Bible. I'm halfway through it. I get all that. And right. But when you try to explain what he is, which is what this show's kind of about, right? How do we explain that guy? And what he did here, how he did, it's hard. It's hard. How do you explain the unexplainable? Like, how do you explain something that you can't tangibly see, touch, but
you can't touch it, feel it,
but you experience them. But you experience them. Yes, you experience.
That's why I hope this episode, what I'm trying to get across is just to try to look at the world differently. As far as a mathematical code, I know that's crazy, but once you see it and you start to see it, you start to see it and you start to say, okay, somebody designed this leaf. Somebody designed this rose. Somebody designed that whatever that deep sea creature is that we don't even know what these
Which
things
is
are.
crazy. Yeah.
There's a code that made it happen, and that code is God. You know, I
Absolutely.
just want, as far as homework, I love to give homework. I'm getting revenge on all the times I had to get homework. You should really check out, the listeners anyway. There are two mathematical guys in this universe that are no longer alive, but they actually came out with stuff that understood how God's fingerprint was in these
Who's this?
codes. Well, the Fibonacci, hey, a nice Italian guy, yeah. Mr. Fibonacci has, you ever hear of something called the golden ratio?
No.
Okay. Go check him out. He developed this. A golden ratio is our face. A golden ratio is, I believe, a shell. Just go check it out. It's a very spiral-oriented thing. There was a series with Kiefer Sutherland a while back about a boy who never spoke but could see the future. I forget what it was called. Touch. I don't know what it was called.
Sure.
Anyway, Fibonacci was one Italian mathematic that figured this out. The second guy, which impressed me really a lot, was a guy called Mandelbrot. Spelling it is going to be a problem. Mandelbrot.
I'm actually looking it up right now. Yeah, Fibonacci.
The Mandelbrot system is going to blow your mind away when you see and understand how these patterns in nature work. So Fibonacci and Mandelbrot, those are the homeworks. Go check out more on these mathematical guys. They were the geniuses to figure it out, but they weren't the geniuses that created what their end result was. It's God. So when you see all that, you're going to understand that you're going to see the world much different than the way you see it after watching this podcast or listening to this podcast.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say.
I just Googled it as you were talking. The golden ratio, Fibonacci numbers appear within the Mandelbrot set through its eternal structure, particularly. I don't even understand what it's like. I really have to dive into this because
maybe you got to look at a simple video.
Yeah, there's a lot here. Wow. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, some of it is made.
I've never even heard of this, and there's endless stuff on it when you just go through the different searches. Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, those are the only two that I've ever done homework on. Because this math got such in my head, I looked it up online, and up came Fibonacci, and up came Mandelbrot, and I checked out both of their things and what they were discovering.
Golden ratio. They call it the golden ratio. All right,
it is the golden ratio. Okay, I just want to make sure I had it right. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But it's quite amazing, and it's almost it's going to make your heart pitter patter, and you're going to get so excited listening to this stuff. It excited me because it backed up everything that I was told before I knew anything about these guys existing. And it actually helped me, like, put me on planet Earth again. Say, wow, maybe all the stuff that I was getting was correct. And sure enough, so far,
why would you even doubt? I mean, that experience you had, I don't even think something you can doubt, right?
Because you do, and you want to make sure that it came from God. And, did I get these messages elsewhere? Is somebody telling me a lie? But no, it wasn't. It was clearly messages from something, entity, mathematical, that taught me this stuff that, again, I'm not a mathematical guy, but
no, me
here
either.
it is, sweating out of my pores all of a sudden.
Yeah,
10 years ago.
I mean, and I listened to a bunch of the videos that you did, and that there seems to be a common theme of looking at life differently and understanding the architecture behind it. Like a lot of your videos, like that's what they point to. Like there's pointing to the architecture behind it, like this mastermind that created this all, and how things interconnect, like this, how it's not a bunch of random individuals.
Right.
Yeah, there's a symphony. This is like a symphony. There's a harmony to it. There's a process through it all, right? So, and I from the videos I've watched, that's what I always got from them. Like people would watch the videos and go, "This doesn't sound religious." I'm like, well, it's not. It's not religious. It's not,
It's
it
not
is, but it's
religion.
not. It's not
The
religious
only reason,
in religious sense and like box religion, like denominational religion sense. But I mean, if you describe God as a part of a religion, I mean, it's all language and semantics and how you use words too. But, it's not religion, but it's describing what created it all, right? So which at the end of the day, whether you're a Christian, I mean, whether you're a Catholic or a Protestant or a Lutheran, right? Because again, all denominations, all people who took this story, this beautiful story of God and put their own little twist on it and their own rules and regulations, your video strip that apart and go, yeah, that's beautiful. Put that to the side for a second. Look at this. This is the guy who made those things happen because those people have the ability. But like everybody, keep your eyes on this. Forget about keeping your eyes on whether you're a Catholic or a Protestant or a Lutheran. Keep your eyes on the guy, the person, the entity, this divine being that is the one that made it all happen. Right. And I think what Satan wants, and we've said this before, is keep our eyes so much more on what's happening here on our earthly world. Like, well, Catholics are better than the Protestants, and the Lutherans get it wrong, and the Baptists, they're out of their minds, and they don't have, they do church this way, and we're so here that we're not looking there anymore, right? And your videos kind of say, everybody, what? Look there, like look.
The reason I was told to say it this way for the past 10 years is because the churches do it spiritually. I had to do it, not my idea. I had to do it in a physical world where all people, no matter their race, religion, or the color of their skin, or where they are in the world, we all have the same code going on throughout the entire universe. And if everybody could see that code, then we become one instead of us, this religion separated, blah, blah, as you just said. So that's why I do it that way. And I was told to do it that way. Just to get everybody on the same page.
You were told to do it that way. Because I honestly, I know, and I don't even say the word I believe as much as I used to, because it's not, I believe, I say I know because there's that connection, right? So once you have that connection, I know God uses us the way he needs to use us to get his message across. So for Mike, the message might be, Mike, I don't need you to go talking about the Roman Catholic Church because that's not your thing. Like, I don't need you to do that, but I need you to get the message across in the way you could get it across, because this is how I made you, and you could describe it this way, and you could make it relatable this way to point to me. John, I'm going to use you differently. I need you to send the message out this way but they all point to him. They all point to God. And the message is always the same. It's just, you're going to use, let's just say for today's show, you used the code mathematical architecture way, right? And maybe this other person uses a little bit more of a mindful spiritual way, but they both are saying, hold on a second. It's him. It's always him. Forget about the stuff that you think, like, that we get caught up, like you said before. And I love that, where we get caught up in our earthly things so much that we don't realize that whether you're black, white, Chinese, English, purple, yellow, orange, we're all the same at the end of the day. Right?
Because we have the code in common.
We all have this. We all have the code that God gave us
to create God's code.
Exactly. And that's all he wants, is for us all to see that he was the one who created this all. But unfortunately, yes, we do. We get caught up in the semantics of life, and, our eyes are always down and not up instead. But
you're right. That is a mic drop if I ever heard one.
Oh, you're right, man. That was great. And sometimes people have to listen, and they'll be like, well, what are these two guys talking about? I thought the show was about God. I'm like, if you listen well enough and you listen long enough, you're going to see it is about God. It's just maybe it's not the way you were told that God is, because you were told it's got to be only this way. But look around, like, he's everywhere in everything that we've done, that we have around us. So
then you will become a believer, a knower.
Yes.
Once you look at it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll know that you're never alone. And then, like you said before, there's a peace that washes over you all of a sudden, that, like, I'm part of something greater than just what's happening here. And there's solace in that. Yeah. There's absolute solace in that. So awesome. Good stuff. I love it.
I love it, John.
All right.
Well, all I could say is there's your homework. Fibonacci and Mendelbrot Have a
There you
good
go.
time.
An Italian
You
and a
got- you
German.
got
Go
a
figure it out.
month. Go figure them out.
Go figure them out. Yeah.
That's awesome. So
All right.
I guess don't forget, whatever mathematical sequence you do,
Do it mathematically with God. Do it with God.
Love it.
Love it.
goodbye,
All right,
everybody. See you
everybody.
next time.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. Peace. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to today's show. We hope you get as much out of this as we do. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share to help us spread God's love. Don't forget, whatever you do, do it with God.